Boys, UFC Fight Night, Yan versus Figueiredo starting stupidly early this Saturday, and we're going to go through the entire card, starting with those prelims, ending with those main events. Going to do some rare predictions on who I think is going to win and how, and this video is going to be a tough one to do. There's a lot of guys on here with some crazy ass names, so if you hear me pronouncing these names wrong, this is just a trademark part of this channel. I am terrible with names, and now with all these, Asian guys on this list, best believe I'm gonna pronounce 99% of these guys' name wrong. But let's start this off. Let's get into this lightweight division. Maheshate taking on Nikolas, Motta. Now, Maheshate, he's there's going to be a lot of road to UFC fighters on this card. A good chunk, especially in these prelims. So many road to UFC fighters on this card. This Maheshate guy is a good heavy striker, good footwork, good output. He has good kicks, explosive dynamic strikes with some, his striking defense, I'm not gonna lie, it's not the greatest. He does get hit a lot, and you'll notice parts of his game, he'll sometimes fight IQ. Some of these fighters just don't have the greatest fight IQ. Maheshate can be one of those guys with fight IQ. He'll sometimes go, that game plan of going hit for hit with somebody, and I don't think it's going to work out that well for him in this fight. Nikolas, he's a good striker. He's going to be looking for those counters. He has good speed, good power, he has some good diversity in his strikes. He'll go for takedowns if needed. He has okay/good takedown defense, and unfortunately he can be patient at times, but if he does see an opening, he will go for it. I do think Nikolas is going to catch Maheshate in this fight and get a KO win. I'm saying third round. I think it's going to be a back and forth fight. I think Nikolas is going to be very patient the first round. Second round, starting to pick it up. Third round, he's going to find that shot, put down Maheshate with I'm going to say just a straight down the pipe shot. I think that's what's going to do it for him. And yeah, give me Nikolas by a third round KO win. Let's go down to that bantamweight division. Long Xiao taking on Quang. Now, Long Xiao, he's a very heavy, aggressive grappler and wrestler. Although yes, he's good on the ground, he's very bad striking defense wise. He gets hit a stupid amount in his fights, and he really struggles with fighters with a very heavy forward pressure approach, where Quang, he's gonna be the better striker out of the two, but he's more patient. He's looking for counters more often. He's good at, once it's on the ground, having some submission threats here and there. He's light on the feet. He likes to move forward, but also he likes to keep things at range. So it's pretty much going to be a battle of, can Quang keep it on the feet, and can Long Xiao get it to the ground? And I do think Long Xiao can get it to the ground. I think Long Xiao is going to struggle here and there, maybe lose around to the striking of Quang, because Quang is just all around better of a striker. I do think Quang has a little bit of a hole in his game when it comes to the ground game. So Long Xiao 29-28 decision win. I could even see a split decision win. I just think the takedowns, the ground control is going to have a very big impact on the fight. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see round 1 and 3, Long Xiao having a good round and maybe losing that second round. But let's go to that decision win. Going down, flyweight division, probably one of the better fights on this card. Loner Kavanagh, I think that's how you say that dude's name. Very weird name. Taking on Jose Ochoa. I think that's how you say this dude's name, whatever. Kavanagh, he's a very, very fast fighter. He switches his stance a lot. He has good KO power. He doesn't chase the KO. He can go all 15 minutes if he needs to. It's not like he's a first rounder bust type of guy. He will go all 15 minutes if he needs to, but he has some crazy KO power in this division. Stupidly fast, has good composure to him. He's definitely one of the biggest, if I had to pick, he's probably the biggest prospect guy to look forward on this card, where Jose, both of these guys are undefeated, but Jose has a very lazy striking game with him. He'll do these very lazy leg kicks, and just all around his strikes looks very lazy, and he just leaves way too many openings when he is striking. The defense of Jose is not the greatest. He doesn't have a problem mixing in some takedowns if he needs to, but his takedown defense is decent as well. It's nothing amazing, but Loner is just going to be so much faster on the feet. Power for power wise, maybe Loner's a little bit stronger. I just think Loner is probably better everywhere. Like I said, a huge prospect, one of the bigger prospects on this card. Give me Loner by a second round KO win. I think it's going to be a nice highlight reel for Lone Rest. Keep moving down, flyweight division. I don't even know how to say this dude's name. I'm going to give it my best, you guys, but it's Nyamjargal Tumendemberel. I don't know. I'm calling him Nam from now on. Nam taking on Carlos Hernandez. Nam, he's a pretty bad striker with pretty bad striking defense. And at times, this boy can go like Cody Garbrandt crazy and just throw caution to the wind. He's definitely a better grappler / ground game guy than anything else. Carlos Hernandez, you look at Carlos Hernandez and you think 1-3 in his last 4 fights. Things haven't gone his way as of recently, but he has gone up with some of the harder matchups in this division, and I think his record's a little bit deceiving. He has a good grappling base to him, but also he also has some pretty bad striking defense, but he needs to use his boxing in this fight. I think it's going to come down to, can Carlos Hernandez keep it on the feet and stuff Nam's takedowns, which I think he possibly could, to be honest. On the feet, I do think Carlos is better, and I'm saying this now, Carlos Hernandez will beat Nam, but it will be a robbery decision where Nam gets the decision win. I think Carlos is going to keep it on the feet, stuff the takedowns. Yes, maybe first round he gets taken down a little bit and loses that round because of it. Second round, third round, he's stuffing the takedowns and he's piecing up Nam on the feet. But, we're going to be in a country that is known for having some cheating allegations here and there, some rigging here and there. So don't be surprised if Carlos loses this by a robbery decision. Let's keep moving down though. Women's strawweight division. Ming taking on Xiaonan. She's a pretty bad striker with pretty bad striking defense as well. She gets hit a lot. She doesn't have the best wrestling. It's decent. She's fairly aggressive on the forward foot pretty often in her fights, where she's more of a striker than grappler with good takedown defense. She's good at mixing it up to the body. She has those head kicks, the body kicks, leg kicks. She mixes it up very well. And, she just has a good reach to her as well. And using her reach, mixing it up to the body and stuff, she does have some good takedown defense. She does use that very well to get the takedowns. And when it does get to the ground, she has some pretty good and at times nasty ground and pound work and is very dominant on the ground. With that being said, I don't think she's all that good, to be honest. I don't think she's UFC level. Give me Fang by, I want to say a ground and pound TKO win, but I could also see it being just a 30-27 decision win, that's what I'm going to go with. 30-27, very dominant win for Fang. Let's go down flyweight division. Keru Singh Sahata taking on Dong Hu Choi. Now, Kerry, he's a very long striker, more of a striker than anything else. He likes to target the body a lot, which is very good, but at the same time, this dude is very lanky, but he leaves his chin way too high up in the air. That being said, he's fairly well-rounded as well, good takedown defense. A little bit struggles, on the ground, but nothing. Again, he's more of a striker than anything, but the biggest hole in his game right now, as what I see at least, he leaves his shin way too high up. Dong Hu Choi, on the other hand, he's a very good, accurate striker who does change up his stances here and there, constantly giving you different looks. And, he doesn't have the best defense in the world either, but he definitely has the power to KO someone that leaves their chin way up in the air. He can mix up some things, aggressive takedowns. Another thing, this boy gets cut up very easily as well. To be honest, this is a very 50-50 type of fight. And when it's 50-50, you go for the hometown favorite. Dong Hu Choi, 29-28 split decision. I think it's a very even fight, but you know where we're going, It's not going to be the most fair judging, let's just say that. But let's go down bantamweight division. Another crazy ass name. Barry Jing Jaliski, I don't fucking know, taking on Su Young Yu. I'm going to call this dude, I don't even know what you can call this guy. I'm just going to call this dude B. B, he's shown in his last few fights that takedown defense, not the greatest in the world. He's good at using his range, good at using his counters. He will be the better fighter on the feet. He's good at making his opponents pay for shooting in with a sloppy takedown with his knees, with some elbows. He's really good at that, where Su, more of a grappler wrestler than a striker. Again, it's going to be a battle of who can implement their game better. Can B keep it on the feet, or will Su be able to get it to the ground? Because Su, better grappler wrestler than a striker. He throws He throws these very lazy, weak combos in order to get it to the ground. He will go for non-stop takedowns. This dude is literally the Asian Merab. However, unlike Merab, once he gets it to the ground, he won't be like Merab and just lay there the entire time. He's non-stop trying to advance the situation to get to a submission. Because of that, I think Su's going to submit this boy. I do think the non-stop aggressive wrestling of Su is going to be way too much for B. Yes, I could see B catching him, but Su is just way too dominant on the ground, constantly looking for the submission, constantly advancing his position. I'm going to go second round head and arm choke. That being said, I think this is the main event of these prelims. Featherweight division, Bing Chi, I think that's how you say that guy's name, taking on Kangjie Zhu. Now Bing, he's looking for the counters for a lot of his fights. If you watch his fights, this dude's constantly looking for that counter. He's a very cautious, flat-footed striker who has no problem mixing in takedowns here and there, but at times when he does have them on the ground, he will go for a submission over position, and that can cost him in some of his fights. And at times he does have a pretty bad fight IQ because of wanting to go submission for position, but this dude has a big ground game advantage in this fight. Where Zhu, he's more of a striker with heavy leg kicks, throws way more output, has crazy power with him, but the big hole in his game is that takedown defense. The takedown defense is definitely not great, but the good thing about him is he's great at constantly trying to get back up. He's not going to just accept being taken down. He will try to go back up to his feet. He has the big striking advantage in this fight, and because of that, give me Zhu by a KO win, knocking out Bing, chilling himself. I think the non-stop trying to get back to your feet after you get taken down is going to be very demotivating for Bing, and I think Zhu is going to catch him with a nasty highlight reel flatline KO shot. I don't think it happens early. I think it actually happens later in the fight, third round. Give me third round like a right hook, left hook, something like that. That just flatlines Bing chilling. But let's go down to this main card now. Light heavyweight division. Mingyang Zhang taking on Ozzy Diaz. Now, Ming, he has the better footwork, the better striking IQ. He's going to be faster, have more power, The UFC realistically is setting this dude up with a highlight reel KO. That's what they're doing. He also has a 100% finish rate. Where Ozzy, all around, he's just, it's not that he's bad. He's just not UFC level. He's very patient, He has good accuracy with some pretty bad fight IQ at some points too. And I think he's just like a one-trick pony. That one trick is being very patient and looking for the knockout shot. If you watch some of his previous videos, he will literally spend 2 rounds. He'll wait for the third round, trying to get as much data as he can in order to get that one knockout shot. He'll be very patient, waiting for his opening and finding that shot, but I don't think he'll have that opportunity to find that shot when fighting Ming. I think Ming is going to knock him out in the first round. And it just comes down to, I just don't think Diaz is UFC level, to be honest. I just think he's overall worse than Zhang. But let's go down. Another light heavyweight division. Volkan Oezdemir taking on Carlos Ulberg. Now, don't get it wrong. This shit is so... this is a 50-50 type of fight. Volkan Oezdemir been looking really good in his last few fights. He's fairly well-rounded. Uses his range very well. Has a forward-heavy style with... He can mix in the takedowns. Not the greatest chance he'll get you to the ground, but he will mix in some takedown attempts. 7-7 in the UFC, but his losses is very deceiving because his losses are just to... It's not like he's losing to bums, is what I'm trying to say. His losses are very high-quality opponents. Carlos Ulberg, on the other hand, he's on a good win streak himself, but realistically, his wins have been pretty garbage in this light heavyweight division. No real tests, no real big names, no real good guys. This will be his biggest test so far, but I just think that Carlos Ulberg all around is better than Volkan Oezdemir. Striking, footwork, ground game, The only thing that the only thing Volkan Oezdemir does have way more is experience and being a veteran. Because being a veteran and all this experience, I could see Volkan Oezdemir pulling up the upset. I don't think that's going to happen. I could see it happening, but I'm going Carlos Ulberg second round KO. First round, more of a feeling out process. Second round, he's connecting and he's putting out Volkan Oezdemir, someone who, doesn't have the best chin in the world. Both these guys have been knocked out, but Volkan Oezdemir definitely not known the best for having the greatest chin in the world. But I got Carlos Ulberg. Don't get it wrong, Volkan Oezdemir could pull out the upset, but Carlos Ulberg, second round KO. Let's go down women's flyweight division. Wang Cong taking on Gabriella Fernandes. Now Wang coming off a good KO win in her last fight. If you guys don't remember, this is the girl who fought and won against Shevchenko a while back in kickboxing. This girl is very strong for the division. Mixes up the strikes with some leg kicks, body kicks, kicks to the head. Just very, very dynamic with her strikes. She's looking to throw some counters. She has good output. Her grappling is okay, but it's just not proven yet. We don't know much about her grappling. Where Gabriella Fernandes, she's tall for the division. She leaves her chin up way in the air, begging to get hit. When she strikes, it's pretty bad as well, but the takedown defense, it's okay. And she also has a hard time getting back off of her back when she's taken down. So if Wang wants to, we can see how good her grappling is. I bet if she does take down Gabriel, she'll be able to hold her there the entire round. But Wang has some power in this flyweight division. Give me Wang by a first round KO, with Gabriella Fernandes having her chin way up in the air, begging to be hit. Let's go down. I believe this is the co-main. No, featured fight, welterweight division. Kenan taking on Muslim Salikhov. I've been saying this shit for months now. Every single card, we have a battle of the unks here. This is that fight. Kenan, Muslim Salikhov, battle of the unks. A good Sunday night barbecue battle of the unks. Both these guys 2-3 in their last 5 fights. Kenan, he's good at keeping it at his range, using his jab, looking for that counter. He has good power, but one of the lowest level fight IQs in the world, in the UFC. The fact that he had Ian the Cuck Gary practically out of there and couldn't finish it off just shows how bad his fight IQ is. Muslim Salikhov, has been better. His last 2 wins compared to Kenan's, I think he looked better. He doesn't have the best takedown defense, so if Kenan does want to, he probably could take down Muslim Salikhov. I think Salikhov is probably going to win this one, but you know where we're at. Kenan robbery decision. I think that's what's going to happen. I also think this is going to be a relatively boring fight, but let's go down to this co-main event, women's strawweight division. Recent title challenger Xiaonan taking on Tabatha Ricci. Now Yan coming off that loss to Weili, where she literally got choked unconscious. Arguably she could have had a TKO loss, because there's a point where the fight arguably should have been ended by ground and pound from Weili. Then she lost the decision, so she practically lost every single way in that fight. But with all that being said, she still looks pretty well. She looked pretty good against Weili, I'm not gonna lie. She has good striking, good power. The hole in her game is that takedown defense. The ground game is not her best weapon at all in her game, but her jabs, her leg kicks, she goes to the body a lot. She does have some good weapons. It's just that ground game is not part of it. But Tabatha Ricci, aggressive striker, but has some pretty poor striking defense, and she definitely has the edge on the ground in this fight. She also has some really good cardio as well, so if she wants to, she could probably go takedown after takedown after takedown all 3 rounds. But I don't think she'll be able to take down Yan. I think Yan is just too strong for her, and if she does take down Yan, she'll probably be able to get back up. I was very impressed of Yan in her last fight, so I'm going to pick her in this one, 30-27. I just don't think Tabatha Ricci is going to have that much success, if anything, which is, it is what it is. Let's go into this main event now. This main event, the best fight on this card by a mile. Petr Yan taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. Petr Yan coming off a good win to Song Yadong, but has shown that the hole in his game is that takedown game. His ground game, not the best. But with that being said, it was against 2 of the best wrestlers in this division, Aldo and Merab. And do I think Deiveson Figueiredo is that level? I don't think so. Petr Yan has some of the best boxing in this division. Deiveson Figueiredo, I'm just going to say this now. Deiveson Figueiredo, stupidly underrated, very well-rounded. I think is going to have the speed advantage. I know people are saying Petr Yan's going to have that advantage. No, I think Deiveson Figueiredo is going to have the speed advantage. Ground game, he's going to have the ground game advantage. Power, Deiveson Figueiredo is the only one that was able to drop Chito Vera, so power, do I go with Yan or do I go with Figueiredo? Let's just say it's even. Like power for power, they're probably the same. Both of these guys, a slow starter. I think the ground game is where it's going to come into play. I think Deiveson Figueiredo's got this. And I see a lot of people saying Petr Yan's getting this one. I think Deiveson Figueiredo, after struggling for the submission win, because, Merab couldn't do it, Aldo couldn't do it. I don't think Deiveson Figueiredo is going to be able to submit Petr Yan. I think he's going to go for a few in this fight. But after struggling to get that submission, I think he's going to have some good control on the ground. I think he's going to land some nasty ground and pound. And I could see a ground and pound TKO win. That's what I'm going with. 4th round, ground and pound TKO after struggling for a submission win. Deiveson Figueiredo gain that title shot next. And yeah, those are my predictions. Definitely some of the rarest predictions on YouTube. And yeah, I think Deiveson's got this one. The only thing is this shit starts so damn early because we are going to China. It is what it is. Let me know in the comments below. Are you guys going to be watching this one live? Are you going to wait till when you wake up to watch this one on Fight Pass? What are you guys going to be doing? Let me know who you guys think is going to win in that main event. Also, quickly look at this shit because 99% of you guys watch this shit for free. All I ask, help your boy out. Get to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, with all that being said, I don't got much left to say. So with all that being said, I will see you guys in my next video.